today, Baruch Hashem, we start talking about the section of the Hagadah. During Rabotai Leil HaSeder, the most important part of Leil HaSeder is to pass over the story of Mitzrayim to the younger generation. The Torah says, "Veigadeta lebincha bayom hahu le'emor." You're supposed to tell the story of Egypt over to your children, bincha. It doesn't say you're supposed to say it to Jedushka, and not supposed to say it to your brother-in-law and to your sister-in-law. The Torah says it's supposed to, the target, the goal of the night is not to pay attention to the old schools, is to pay attention to the young schools, to the youngers. Because the Torah tells us, "V'igadeta lebincha bayom hahu le'emor." With this, Rabotai, being said, there is a very common mistake. Every single year people make this mistake. Not everybody makes this mistake, but many people do that. People many times getting their father next to them, their relatives, the older people next to them, and do it adzen listol for the kids. All the way over there. Who is the father of the house? Sits together with all the old schools. He's supposed to say the story to the old schools, or supposed to say the story to the youngers? Where's the youngers? All the way over there. Problem number one. Instead of that, says Chachamim, you're supposed to take your kids next to you. The children are supposed to be the goal. Rabotai, Leil HaSeder is not a night that we're supposed to eat a lot. It's not a night we're supposed to drink alcohol a lot. It's not a night that we're supposed to do many other things. It's the night that we're supposed to pass the story of Egypt to your kids. Therefore, Rabotai, it's a common mistake that people put the kids very far from them. Do not do that, because you're going to miss out their interest. Many times, the distance in tables makes the person not interested already in whatever the person says, because he's in a different table, he's in a further table. You already lost interest about whatever the head of the house saying. That's problem number one. Problem number two, Rabotai, many times you have Jedushka that doesn't speak English, and you have your kids that doesn't speak Russian or Bukharian. You don't know right now which language to speak. You're going to speak English. Your father says, "Alo, ma odam nestamchi, ma lavzima gavzan." This the Zedushka. You speak in English. You speak the Zedushka's language. Your kids doesn't understand. Rabotai, if I have to choose my Zedushka or my grandkids or my kids, who's supposed to be my goal that night? My kids. You tell your Zedushka, you can fit a little words to make him understand as well. But the goal, Rabotai, is supposed to be the kids. Our interest supposed to be that night to pass over the story to your kids. Therefore, the language you're supposed to read the Hagadah is a language that you understand and your kids understand. Not supposed to be saying the story of Hagadah in language that your kids doesn't understand. Pa'etamu, Rabotai, questions after. Rabotai, Pa'etamu. There is many times people think, Rabbi, I'm supposed to read Hagadah in Hebrew. I'm going to be a millionaire if I'm going to read Hagadah in Hebrew. Rabotai, that's a mistake. Hagadah not supposed to be read in Hebrew. Hagadah is supposed to be read in language you understand. Jedushka understands Russian, you give him Hagadah in Russian. The youngsters understand in English, you give them Hagadah in English. The language of the table supposed to be language that the young people will understand, because the goal, Rabotai, of Story of Egypt is the young people. Rabbi Shlomo Zalman Auerbach asking, he says, here, Molochia, Rabbi Shlomo Zalman Auerbach is asking a question. He says, every single day and every single night, we're mentioning the coming out of Egypt. It says in Torah, we say in Shema Israel, אני השם אלוקיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני השם אלוקיכם. Amen. Everybody say. So we remember Egypt every morning. We remember Egypt every night. So what's special, says Rabbi Shlomo Zalman Auerbach, about Leil HaSeder? What's their specialty like this? You know, Leil HaSeder, we have to say the Mitzrayim story. But I mentioned Mitzrayim. I remember Mitzrayim. Kash de'utra, kash de'vechir. What's the specialty of Leil HaSeder? Says Rabbi Shlomo Zalman Auerbach, in Leil HaSeder, you're not supposed to only mention Yetziat Mitzrayim. You're supposed to elaborate on Yetziat Mitzrayim. Well, okay, you know what elaborate is? To say extra words about the story of Egypt. He says, with this you fulfill a mitzvah mideoraita of the story coming out of Egypt. He says, with this being said, what if a person is in a situation that he cannot read the entire Haggadah? There are certain sections he wants to skip. What's the allowed permission to skip? What's not allowed to skip? So he says over here, in the book Halichot Shelomo, in page Rei Samech Gimel, he writes like this: had Amar Rabban Gamliel, מי שלא אמר שלושה דברים הללו, פסח, מצה ומרור, לא יצא ידי חובה, אין המצווה אלא למצווה מן המובחר. בידי הגדה מי הוא כן יצא, אם לא אמר ודע, יש מפרשים דהיינו שחיסר בגוף מצוות פסח, מצה ומרור, ולא כעל ציפור יציאת מצרים. אבל פשטות אין נראה כן, וגם התוספות נראה שלא נתכוונו להה וחיסרון בגוף המצווה. וגם צריך עיון, אם כן היה צריך לתקן אמירה זו סמוכה לאכילתה, כי הסדר שלנו שאומרים כן, זמן רב לפני האכילה, ולכן בפשטות נראה לאמירת ג' הדברים הללו, הם רק לשם הידור במצוות הסיפור גופה. We say in the story of Egypt, whoever did not say Pesach, Matzah, and Maror, לא יצא ידי חובתו, right? Says Rav Shlomo Zalman Auerbach, that's not 100% true that you did not fulfill the mitzvah if you didn't say Pesach, Matzah, and Maror. It says as long as you elaborate the story of Egypt, you fulfill the mitzvah of Hagadah. The text that we have in the Hagadah is just to help us to remember points. Oh, listen, there was extra amount of miracles like this, there was miracles like that, to help us to remember the story of Egypt, so we have those points. But every single point over there is not like Megillat Esther, that if you miss one word, you didn't fulfill the mitzvah. In Megillat Esther, Mr. Malakov, if you didn't hear one word, you fulfilled the mitzvah, Megillat Esther? No. But in Leila Seder, if you did not say one word in Haggadah, did you fulfill the mitzvah? As long as you elaborated the story of Egypt, you fulfilled the mitzvah. Says you picked up the matzah. You're elaborating the story of Egypt. Tell the people, don't say it only in Aramaic. Say it in English. Say it in language people understand. This is the portion's bread that we ate whenever we came out of Egypt. Next year we are here. Next year we're going to be in Yerushalayim. The language people should understand. This is elaborating the mitzvah of Hagadah lebincha, and you fulfill with this, Rabotai, the mitzvah from the Torah of Hagadah lebincha bayom ha'u le'emor.